You probably have something in your mind right now that you've been meaning to start. Maybe investing, a business idea, or a hobby. Something that could actually change things for you. But you haven't started yet. And the funny thing is that it's probably not because you're lazy. And it's not because you don't care. It's something a lot quieter than that. It's your brain trying to protect you from something it doesn't fully understand yet, which is uncertainty. Because starting something new always feels like stepping into the unknown, and the unknown doesn't feel safe. Why starting feels harder than doing. Starting always involves letting go of something. You may be thinking that that's not true, but I would argue otherwise. Even if it's just starting to wake up earlier. For that to happen, you sacrifice sleep, or you sacrifice that amount of time you would have the evening before. This may sound simple, but you can use this way of thinking for everything you want to start doing. If by any chance you find a situation where you don't have to sacrifice anything for the new thing you want to start, then seriously, start that thing right now. But with most things, there is something, even if it's almost insignificant. And that's why starting can feel so hard. But it's important you get over that annoyance and think about the positives of that thing you want to start. That could be, like I already mentioned, getting up earlier so you have more time for things. Or maybe it's starting to invest, which you've been putting off for ages already, right? For me personally, it was indeed investing. I pushed it away and told myself that if this or that happens, then it will take the time to learn about it and so on. I expected investing to be something difficult and hard to learn, but it's really not. As soon as you get the grasp of it and you start understanding it, you begin to wonder why not everyone is doing it. And that truly is something I think about a lot. Why is not everyone investing? Well, that's a topic for another video. The hidden fear behind every new beginning. Fear is involved in many things. The same goes for starting something new. What if this thing doesn't work out? What if it ruins my life? What if the money I use for this is wasted? There are a lot of different fears that stop you from starting. Some of them are legitimate, but they should never be the reason why you don't start. Fear helps you have respect and take things seriously while you're doing these things. That's when they are helping you in being cautious and careful. But only then. If you never start this business idea or that YouTube channel, nothing will change. But if you do decide to start it, start investing for example, then you will see how money works for you and how things start to change. It's okay to fear new beginnings, but it's important that you don't let it stop you from starting it. For example, this YouTube channel right here. I myself am struggling with starting things until I'm sure they will work out. So, as a sort of exercise, I decided to create this video. Not only to motivate myself, but most of all to share this struggle and help others as well. So, remember, fear is okay, but don't let it stop you from starting. And this leads right into the next point. Why we wait for the perfect time that never comes. But what if now is not the right moment? Yeah, well, there is no right moment at all. The perfect time doesn't exist. You could argue that investing right at the end of COVID-19 would have been the perfect time, and you wouldn't be wrong. But there are a lot of people who thought that exactly this moment was the wrong time. We don't know what will happen, nobody knows. People speculate about things and sell their opinions like they know what's going to happen, but nobody does. So if you're struggling to start that thing you've always been wanting to do, then just do it. The best moment to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best moment is today. In our heads, we always think about how in just a few months the chance of the right moment is bigger. Maybe I will be in a better headspace and can start this the right way. But the only thing that is bigger in a few months is the regret of not starting. Time moves fast. How long have you been postponing the idea of starting the thing that has always been floating around in your head? Months? Years? Probably, but don't start to overthink that you wasted all this time until now, because that is equally bad for you. How overthinking and perfectionism kills momentum. This goes hand in hand with the previous point. The same way that you wait for the perfect time or the perfect moment, you can spend months just overthinking about the things that could go wrong. Most of the time, the reasons you build in your head are overblown and unrealistic anyway. You can always continue to overthink while you're working on the thing you always wanted to start. But the difference to someone who overthinks without starting is that you are ahead of that person, even though you may think it's not perfect. Perfectionism and overthinking is really similar if we're talking about starting things. You may think about starting a YouTube channel for months, deciding between different channel names, different video ideas, or even just the right niche. Those things are important, don't get me wrong, but while you're thinking about this non-stop for weeks and months, someone else already created a video that you would deem to be not perfect, but maybe that video will gain views and generate the first few viewers while you are still scratching your head. You can always change your strategy and make things perfect afterwards, but you can only do that as long as there's something to make perfect. If you never start, you can't make it perfect. Perfectionism only works if you know enough about the thing you try to make perfect. But when you're just starting, it's impossible to have that knowledge, so just start already. The comfort zone trap. We humans like comfort, and there's nothing wrong with that in theory. But comfort doesn't lead to change and success. If you stay in your comfort zone forever, you may feel good about yourself, but most likely there will always be a part of you that yearns for more. What's even worse is that staying in this comfort zone for a long time and not starting things will create regret that builds up over time, and that in turn leads to you hiding even more in the comfort zone. So you might wonder, how do I get out of this comfort zone? Well, there's no way to do it in a comfortable way, because that's the point, right? Leaving comfort behind. Of course, you don't want to just make your life a living nightmare. That doesn't make sense. You can still have comfort, and in fact you should, but that comfort should only take place in the time of the day where you relax and recharge from things you did throughout the day, like for example your 9-to-5 job. And this time out of the comfort zone may also include coming home from your 9-to-5 job and work on another thing in the evening. And only after that you spend maybe an hour gaming or watching something. It's important that you not only consume in your life, but also create. Now, personally, I always disliked that, because what if I don't want to create anything? What if I just want to enjoy my life and consume things and work a 9-to-5 job? There's nothing wrong with that, if that's truly what you want. For myself though, I realized that I kept on switching my mindset back and forth. One week I was like, I'm just gonna enjoy video games and audiobooks and work a normal job. That way I can actually enjoy life. But then the next week I heard of some kind of success story, or just a great hobby that someone has, where creation is involved, and I got jealous. I wanted to have something like that myself, and that's where I started thinking about leaving my comfort zone. That's when I started to create things after coming home from work. I tried many different things over the years and still find myself wondering if it was wasted time, although deep down I know that it definitely wasn't wasted time. I tried to write books, even finished one and sent it out to the publishers. I never heard anything back though. I made a lot of YouTube videos in my life already. I even had a YouTube channel with 3,000 subscribers. But even that I gave up because I lost motivation after some videos got lower views. Who knows, maybe that will happen again with this channel. But I started it now, didn't I? And that's what's important. What if this works out? What if I make it? That's the mindset you should have. So, get out of your comfort zone. Learn about investing, even though some of your free time will be sacrificed for it. Learn that skill that you were interested in since forever, because maybe it will be useful. It's important that you start, even to maybe just realize that it's not even for you and that you don't like doing it at all. That was the case for me with writing music. I loved playing the piano, but creating my own melodies was just really not for me at all. Why most people never take the first step. Now, this is very similar to waiting for the perfect moment, but the difference is that even though you are convinced that you should start this thing right now, you still hesitate. Okay, but I will start it tomorrow, ASAP, but then you don't. Why is that? Well, it's because taking the first step is the hardest. You will always come upon roadblocks again, but they will be easier to handle because you can look back and say, look at what I've already accomplished. But with taking the first step, you don't have that advantage. When taking the first step, there's always fear coming into play again. Even though you were sure about your decision, now that you are supposed to actually begin, the worry about doing something wrong comes up again. I have the same feelings for this channel. Eventually I was sure I wanted to make videos like this and that I could bring my own spirit into this type of content. But right now I'm wondering if I'm just imitating someone else. But even if that's the case, I'm learning something and improving myself, and I will find my own style. And in turn I took the first step and I'm creating this video. And that is worth so much more than not taking the first step at all. The psychology of procrastination. We all know what procrastination is, and we all know that we're guilty of it. But I find it really interesting. A lot of times I catch myself thinking, I don't have time right now, but tomorrow I will do it. I then set the reminder to tomorrow, and tomorrow I set it to the day after that day. And that keeps on happening until I procrastinated for weeks, even though the thing I was supposed to do was only paying a bill. That's really bad behavior. The same thing happens when wanting to start something. Oh, I will look into investing the next weekend. I don't have time right now. And then you proceed to play an hour of video games before going to bed. Even though in just this 1 hour you could have learned so much about investing already. That information would then linger inside of your head and work for you while you are doing your 9 to 5 the next day. By the time you get back home, you suddenly have questions about investing that you didn't have before, and you start researching them. Or maybe you take notes of those questions and delay the research until you find yourself in the exact same situation again. Procrastination is the killer of productivity and also creativity. If you learn to fight your inner procrastination, then you're already ahead of many people. In the beginning, that's really hard, but it gets easier over time. Once you realize that by not delaying things, you actually have more free time. Free time to play video games, or free time to learn more about the thing you want to start. Or even better, free time to start that thing. Why your brain resists new things. It's not that your brain wants to keep you from success and happiness. That's not how it works, because even your brain knows that you would be doing better if you just started the things you put off for years. But your brain is trying to protect you against uncertainty, risk, and delayed rewards. Especially the last part is something we humans struggle with. If we don't benefit from the thing we're doing right now, we ignore it. Have you ever thought about how cool it would be if instead of a monthly salary, you had a daily salary? I definitely have. I thought to myself that if that were the case, then I would be way more motivated to go to work, because at the end of the day, I can see the result directly. Well, that may be or may be not the case. But a lot of things in life aren't about instant gratification. Things take time to develop, and it may take days, weeks, months, or even years until you can see a payoff. That can be money that your YouTube channel finally generates, or a skill that you start to know really well after a long time. It's important to set goals and focus on them instead. While you wait for this delayed reward, you can look forward to achieving a goal that isn't far away. Let's take a YouTube channel again, for instance. Instead of waiting every day until you reach the requirements to monetize your channel, you instead focus on reaching your first 10 subscribers. When you achieve that and only keep that long-term reward somewhere in the back of your mind, you will notice that you can stick with something way longer than you normally would. But all of this thinking only works if you actually start and don't let your brain hinder you at starting. The cost of waiting and what inaction takes from you. Time is the most valuable thing we have, even more valuable than money. I think a lot of millionaires would trade their money just to be in their 20s again. That doesn't mean you should just enjoy your 20s and not think about the future. Not at all. Yes, you should enjoy your young years, but you should definitely also invest time into your future. Even if that's just finally investing. Especially with investing, time is worth so much. Compounding is something we humans struggle to imagine. Someone who starts investing in their 20s can have so much more money than someone who starts investing in their 30s. Even then, it's not too late to invest, by the way. But these 10 years make a huge difference in investing. So even though the person in their 30s may make more money, they will still have less money saved at the age of 40 than the person who invested regularly in their 20s, just because they had a 10-year head start. The same thing goes for starting a business, a YouTube channel, or just a skill you want to develop. Time is worth a whole lot, and waiting takes this time away from you. It also takes potential success from you. What if you started your business 10 years ago and by now you would be financially free? That's of course a lot of speculating, but it goes to show that inaction and waiting is really damaging to your future self. How small first steps beat big dreams every time. Now this is a very simple one. Taking your first step and starting is always worth more than big dreams. Big dreams are important and you should have them, but don't forget to take your first step and walk towards that dream. Sometimes the distance between the first step and that big dream isn't even that far, but you will only see this distance close once you start walking. And the strange thing is, most people don't fail because they never had a good idea. They fail because they never gave that idea a chance to exist in the real world. Everything you want, skills, progress, change, starts the same way. Not with motivation, not with certainty, but with a single uncomfortable first step. And maybe that's the real difference. Not between people who succeed and people who don't, but between people who started and people who kept thinking about it. Let me know what it is you want to start down in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this video was helpful or at least entertaining. Have a wonderful day.